What's going on, guys? Ed here at Echo 24 Tactical. So today, let's talk about this bad boy, the CZ P-10C. Let's get into it. Alright guys, real fast, lock to the rear. You see the orange magazine well, nothing in the chamber. Take the magazine out, magazine's empty. We'll just insert it for the time being. Slide forward, pull the trigger. Alright, we know we got a clear and safe firearm. Alright guys, so this CZ P-10C, I was very intrigued after watching the Military Arms channel back at the end of 2016 or beginning of 2017 when they first released this pistol. It greatly caught my interest, and I was one of the first on board to purchase one of these sometime in 2017. If I'm not mistaken, I was probably one of the first ones in northeastern Pennsylvania to actually purchase one of these pistols. I could not wait to get it. This pistol is very similar to the size of a Glock 19, and anybody who knows me well enough, or maybe has had a couple small conversations with me, I do not like Glock. I do not own Glocks. I've never owned a Glock, and I never will own a Glock. So, being that this was able to fit in a Glock 19 holster, or many of them out there, because I know the type of pistols that I am interested in, typically finding a holster for, especially 5+ years ago, was very difficult to find. So, being that a pistol like this could fit in a Glock 19 holster, I could pretty much walk into any gun store, find a holster that'll fit for it, and now I can make this work. Because at the time I did love CZs, and I still do. CZs I hold very close to my heart. I believe they are one of the best pistols out there. This CZ P-10C, buying it, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I like to create my own opinions. Throughout the many years I have purchased pistols, I have put them through their paces. I have owned them one day to several days to several weeks and said, this is enough, taken a hit, traded it in, and gotten something else. I don't just buy pistols and make them work, or I buy pistols and just let them sit on the shelves. Guns are tools to me, so they have to work correctly in order for me to keep them, maintain them, and talk about them. So this gun has about a 4.2-inch barrel. It's very similar to the Glock 19 size. It is slightly larger in some dimensions. I'm not a Glock guy. I don't have a Glock 19 to show the comparison. Maybe in the future I'll bump into a buddy of mine who has a Glock 19 and I can physically show you the comparisons. They are out there on YouTube though. So the three things I thoroughly enjoy about this pistol is a lot of people complain about the grip texturing being too rough or too aggressive. I love it. And when I do squeeze the heck out of this pistol, when I'm shooting double, triple, quadruple taps, and I'm putting a fist-size hole in a target at 7 yards away, I'm okay that there is dots on my hands because I have control of this pistol. This trigger is roughly about a 4.5 pound trigger pull. I know I measured it when I originally got it. I don't have a meter currently. But I probably have, if I said I only had 10,000 rounds through this pistol, I'd be lying. I know I have shot well more than that throughout this one pistol. I have changed the spring in the guide rod once because I thought it was softening too much. I have really put this gun through its paces. With that being said, I have contemplated on purchasing more than just this firearm. I want numerous CZ P-10Cs. I want a new one sitting around. I want one partially used. I want this pistol that's been through hell and back sitting around and still works phenomenally. I love these pistols. This is one of those guns that you can't talk about. You physically have to shoot it to enjoy it. So right off the bat, you're going to see how the P-10C has a very deep beaver tail in there. That deep beaver tail allows me to get a high purchase on the firearm. I have a very high purchase. So Glocks, for example, if I was to do this and the slide was to come back, I would cut my hand wide open. So being that I have a very tight, high up on the gun, this is one of the reasons why I really love this pistol. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Glocks are not good shooters and not reliable. They are. There's just things about them that I simply just don't like. And one of them is every time I grab the pistol and I get a very high purchase, I will tear the fuck out of my hand. Alright. So because you have the ability to get a very high purchase on this gun, when this gun recoils, it's being absorbed a lot within your hand and up through your wrist. So you don't have to worry about a lot of muzzle rise with this pistol. Now I know we're only shooting 9mm and stuff like that. It's a different topic and conversation. But if you take one 9mm that has a very short beaver tail and you take another one that has a very deep one, you're going to mitigate the recoil, and this is going to be a whole lot more flat shooting. So the original OG of the P-10C, which is this one, because the newer ones only have a magazine release on one side, you can remove it and swap it over to the other side and stuff like that. There's a couple changes that have been made, but this one, so you have a magazine release on both sides, you have a slide release on both sides. Now a lot of complaints I was seeing on YouTube, now this is an empty magazine so I still have spring tension on the magazine, is these magazine releases are very tight. You take the magazines out, and then even if I had a loaded magazine, they say it's very hard to take the magazine out. I don't know. All you guys in the military, all you guys have shot the 92A1 or the Beretta M9. I don't think this magazine release is any stiffer than that firearm. Very easy to get out. Even when it was brand new, it was a long time ago, but I don't remember thinking like, gosh, this magazine release sucks. I don't ever remember thinking that. I mean, you really got to get your finger in there, but just a little bit of training, it does absolutely wonderful. The ambi slide release on both sides works very well. It's easy to release for the lefty, and then it's also easy to release for the righty. It's a little bit harder using my index finger. I don't typically release like that, and then you're going to have other people in there arguing, saying, oh my god, don't ever do that. You got to grab the slide and let it go home. I don't care what you do. Just do the same thing every time. So the Glocks, they come with polymer sights. I think the new ones may not, but for the most part, they all come with polymer sights. The CZ P-10C, these are metal sights. They are night sights with some night glows on there. I don't know if you could see that. I don't know the correct terminology in which they're using for these night sights, but we're just going to call them night sights. The steel serrations on the front and the back of this slide is very, very aggressive. So they're pretty deep. I don't know if you can get a good look at this, and I'll zoom in later on in this video so you can get a good look at that. But I'm barely hanging on, and it's already starting to take the slide. So as soon as I get a good purchase on it, it'll take the slide and run it. It's very easy to manipulate. So I have the Surefire XH30 on here. It's a Masterfire light for the Masterfire holster that I've been running lately. Still running that through its paces. I'm still pretty impressed with that holster, but I still may not use it, but that's for a later date. But as of right now, the light itself is a very impressive light. It's made by Surefire. I think everybody knows that. It's pretty cut and dry. This CZ P-10C, being one of the originals, does not have an optic cut for the slide. The last several years I've started getting into optics. I still don't know how I feel about that. Maybe because I've trained for so long without the optics on a pistol, that I'm just kind of hanging back and going with what I'm comfortable with. I do have a couple pistols out there that do have the Steiner MPS, that do have the Holosun, what's that, the Holosun, I'm drawing a blank, but it's the It's the Holosun with the circle and the dot in the center and everything else. It's one of their newer ones. Regardless, has nothing to do with this conversation right now. And people have told me, hey, why don't I get this milled for an optic? I don't want to. This pistol, I love it so much in its original configuration, I'm going to leave it as such. When I mentioned that I will be getting other CZ P-10Cs down the road, I'm going to purchase those with the optic cut and or have one placed into it because I'm still playing with it. I'm not opposed to the idea. I think it's more so I'm just comfortable without using one. But I believe the CZ P-10C you can now also get with the optics cut. It's just very difficult to find. We're going to break this down. So it's going to break down very similar to a Glock. I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm just going to slide this to the rear. You still have the two tabs on either side like the Glocks. I'm just going to pull it down, let it go home, pull it off. So one thing you're going to notice from the CZ P-10C versus the Glock is there's going to be a lot more material inside of the slide and on the barrel than you would see on the Glock. Prime example, I don't have one in front of me, but this barrel here has a lot more material and is a lot thicker than the Glock 19. Just give you an idea inside of here. Now, be mindful of how many rounds I said I've put through here. The amount of wear that is on the slide is very minimal. It's very impressive. Now, this pistol did come with a polymer guide rod, I believe, and I hate polymer guide rods. I think they're just absolutely useless, and I have seen several of them break in the military and in the civilian side of the world. So I jumped right into and I bought an original stainless steel guide rod to go on this pistol. That guide rod also fits the CZ-P-07, I believe, as well. And I've just recently changed it out to a new one, probably within the last year, because it was getting super soft. Assembly. Alright guys, now that I got the pistol put back together, I'm going to go ahead and come closer to the camera so you can see this trigger pull itself. When I mentioned earlier, this is the pistol you have to shoot. That trigger is one of the reasons. I've seen videos in the past, they said the skin on the bottom of the trigger pinches in between the trigger well and the trigger itself, and they get a little abrasive scar. I've never had that issue. Everybody's fingers are built a little differently. You know, I have very wide, meaty fingers for the most part. I'm 6'5", like 280 pounds. I'm a fairly big guy. I think other people that don't have the body mass that I have or smaller fingers may encounter that. Everybody's a little different. So let me come on closer here so you can see what's going on here. All right, guys, I got the pistol here. Just gonna go ahead and rack it. So I'm gonna put my finger on the trigger here. So this is your take up here, and then it comes to an abrupt wall. And then you pretty much break through the wall. I don't remember any type of creep, but we're gonna walk through this together. So now that I've come to the wall, let's start creeping back. There's a creep, it just kind of dripped in there, and then your break. Let's reset it. So the reset, come out, and what I like about this pistol, there's the reset right there, it pushes your finger out. Because it pushes your finger out, it allows me to shoot this gun more controllably quicker, if that makes sense. Like the P-320, if you saw my video on that pistol, I hate the P-320's trigger because it doesn't force my finger out. I literally have to let out a certain amount of excess on the trigger for the trigger to come back out, and I don't like that. I like something that physically forces my finger out. Even though the reset's already been conducted, as I let my finger off this trigger, it's still pushing my finger. I like that push. All right, so let's do this again here. So you come out, you come to the wall, gonna pull a little bit quicker. There's your break, and then you reset, and your break. Reset, and break. It's very short. I absolutely love it. I have done no modifications to this trigger. I don't think I need to put the Apex trigger in here. I know a lot of people are putting the Apex trigger or other aftermarket triggers in here, and I'm sure it may be just a tad bit better, but I am so happy with this stock trigger, I'm not going to take the time to do that. So let's go ahead, let's get a close look at this pistol here. You know, she's got some scratches on the top. She's been rode hard and she's been put up wet. The mag well here, I don't know if you can see inside. She's got some scrapes in her. But for the most part, the amount of magazine reloads I have done with this pistol, I'm thoroughly impressed with this whole polymer mag well. Also, there is a small feed lip in here for the magazines. I don't know if you can kind of catch a glimpse of that or not, but there's some small feed ramps in there. All right, one thing I don't like about this CZ, the grip panels in the back. You physically have to take a punch, and at the time I did not have any armorer's tools to punch this out, so I was literally taking like a nail and pushing it through. But pushing out this punch as soon as you get a pistol, one of these pistols to try out the 3 different size grip panels is kind of a pain. But once you find out where you want to be, it's well worth the excitement to go through all that. So this is the medium grip panel, as you can see. And I've put that on there back in 2017 and I haven't removed it. You can see the aggressive grip that everybody's worried and concerned about. So when I carry this on my person, the grip on the side here, this is very soft. This is like, I don't know if this is abrasive at all. The abrasive part is in the front and the stern. Excuse me, you can tell I'm a boat guy. I said stern. All right. So this is where it's really abrasive, in the back and the front here. But on the side here, when this is against the body, I don't ever feel this. Maybe on occasion, this may get me or something. But after like a week or two of wearing it, I just completely forgot about it. See the wear on the barrel? Not much at all. This is the original barrel, guys. All right. All right, guys, I want to thank you for taking a minute of your time and joining me on this review of the CZ P-10C. It probably wasn't as in-depth as what you're typically hearing. All the specs and everything on the firearm you can find at czusa.com. It's very easy to come across. You just simply look for that pistol, scroll down, there's the specs, you can read it and have a more cognitive idea of what's going on versus me just verbally saying it and then you going to look it up anyway. If you guys have any questions about this pistol, let me know. And like I said, I don't want to be biased because I own it. But like I said earlier, everything I own, I have put through the paces, and I am not afraid to take a hit a day or several weeks later just to get something better that would work for me. I've also got the Walther PDP Pro SD Compact on order, and I'm a little concerned about that because I'm afraid I'm going to love that pistol so much, this may go on the back burner. But until that happens, this is still leading in its class in my eyes. Also, when I say you gotta shoot this pistol to experience it, I tell the world about this pistol. When pistol conversation comes up, people that I know very well that are familiar with other brands, but not CZ, when people are looking to get in the industry and they're not familiar with any brands, I tell them about CZ. Guys I go shooting with, I always bring this and I let everybody shoot it. And verbally talking about something is one thing, and that's anything on YouTube. You can do as much research as you want about one product. as soon as you get it home, it's not what you thought it was. So what I want you to do is I want you to physically go out and shoot this firearm. Everybody that I've expressed this interest to verbally all has the same response. You know, okay, we're cognitively aware of what's going on. You know, it sounds like an awesome pistol. You know, I'm really headstrong, or I love these type of brands and stuff like that. You know, but I love to shoot it one day. And when these guys physically shoot this pistol, you see the wheels turning in their head. You can actually physically see them realize that, wow, CZ did an impressive job with this pistol. So I want you guys to go out and shoot it and experience it for yourself. Please do yourself a favor and do that. Go down to your local gun range, find out who has a CZ P-10C, and go shoot it. There's also a subcompact model and a full-size model. I did own both those models. I never shot them because I just always shot the CZ P-10C, so I got rid of those two models. Both of those were optics ready. But the CZ P-10C, I feel, fits that niche between carry, duty, and everything else all in between. Thanks for checking in today, guys. Go ahead, subscribe down at the bottom, hit that bell notification. Any questions, concerns, comments, throw them in the comment section below, and I'll be glad to get back to you guys. Take care of yourself.